Tizai. Anyways, I actually just did a review, and I'm now doing a second review. Anyways, but I read the book. I've read a bunch of books, but I'm only doing a review on this book, History of Wolves. Basically, History of Wolves by Emily Fridlund. Fridlund. It's like Fridlund or Friedlund. Emily Fridlund. Emily Fridlund. Anyways, she's American. This was her debut novel in 2017, and this joint is a freaking banger, bro. Or like, this is like one of the best. Like, I listened to it on audiobook for reference, basically. But this is one of the best audiobooks I've ever read in my entire life. Like, hands down. It's so well written. Like, it's up there with my freaking Alexandre Dumas, Jane Austen's, freaking Shakespeare, freaking Stephen King, like the cream of the crop, the top writers. Basically, it's up there with just like of generational, like, all-time writers. I feel like this on my bookshelf belongs there because the writing is so freaking good. It's so freaking honest. That's the thing about this screenplay. It's honest, it's transparent, and it's just like basically this 15-year-old girl, her life of and I think it's so accurate. As a life coach who's been a life coach for really long, and I've been a really good life coach for mad long, basically, I've heard a lot of people's life stories, of people's secrets, of the dark underbelly of the human world. Basically, I've heard a lot, basically, and I think just like of like middle class, like culturally white is middle class, like world of just like their lot of from a feminine perspective of their lives, basically, whether it's like femme guy, femme women, femme non-binary, basically, of just like that's like type of like life, basically, or that type of like, just that like an individual in that kind of like position of just their lives, basically. I feel like is so accurate. I feel like if like you're just kind of like numb and just kind of removed from a lot of the world, and you're just kind of like alone in a lot of ways, and I feel like society is very like harsh and like angry at like anybody like femme or just like who's not masculine, macho tough person. And I feel like conditioned to kind of like be like bitter, or not many, that's another word I want to use, but you're just conditioned to be like fake and like contain yourself and like be like project an image that like society wants, and I feel like that's what this book is about. It's about like this girl going through life and not feeling like she belongs anywhere, and feeling like she can't be herself, and like being numb to just like all the events that happen in the story. She's like, I'm kind of unfazed, and it's like you're desensitized and unfazed to like all these things that are going on, and you don't really have a response because you don't have a response for your own self. You don't have a response for like anything that's going on. There's not like stability, or just like a direction, basically. It's just kind of, you're like just there, and I feel like it that is like portrayed and written so accurately, so like completely. It's just so like fully accurate to what it is, to what I've seen and heard, like just in people's lives. And I feel like the story is so honest when it's just like there's like a scene where she's like, you guys are all fishing in this small town, you all look the same to me, I don't really care, and then like there's a character talking, and she's kind of just like not listening to this character. I think it's like the aunt or the lady or whatever like that. She's talking, she's like zoned out, and she's just assessing the person as a human being. She's just observing the lady as she's talking, and I just really, I've seen that and I've heard that And I just feel like it's very authentic. It's just like you're like bored. You're bored of humanity, but you also like you're alienated from humanity all at once, and you don't know how to react. You know, you're just kind of like numb. And I feel like that's what this book is about. And I feel like just like even the way things are described, it's so just like it's just a throwaway, just like unimportant. Everything about the whole book is unimportant. It feels like it's just like it just it, in a lot of ways feels like kind of you're writing a dystopian novel from somebody like far away or behind a certain glass, basically, and you're just like from the outside looking in. And like again, I just feel like it's so accurate, it's so honest. I feel like the scenes are good. I feel like the characters are believable and good. I feel like they're fleshed out, and like they seem like they would be real people. I feel like just the tone and the care of the book is just like real. I don't know how else to say. I feel like Emily Fridlund, it was just, again, like all the best books, all the best movies, all the best TV shows, all the best music artists, like they're just really good at what they do because they're good at more than one thing. They're good at multiple things, and they're all those multiple things are really good. And I feel like that's the summary of like History of Wolves. Like everything is really good. The dialogue, the conversation that the book has, or the conversation that the book has, basically are all tied together, but they all make sense and they all feel real. It's not something that's gonna be this like, oh wow, this is perfect. It's not perfect, you know, and it's just someone's perspective, someone's idea, just explained, you know. And I feel like it just like is so believable. Like everything just works. I feel like I really like this setting of just like, you know, this like small town that doesn't mean anything, and it's like a good, like everything's a reflection of the character, everything's a reflection of the writing, where it's just like it's not supposed to be this like intricate, well done thing. It's supposed to be this just like organic, normal, just, you know, unimpressive type of thing that just happens. And you know, and there's like the big, like the death, or just like the criminal person in the beginning. I don't want to get freaking banned on YouTube or whatever. Like just like it's not like because I was looking it up. I was like, what's the controversy behind this book, basically? And there, like, some people like don't like the response because it's too like it's not like expressive enough, or it's just like, but also it's like, to me, I feel like that's a good like I feel like that's the accuracy about this book. It's just like it's not to the events that happen in the story. It's like it's not a big reaction because it doesn't make sense that it's a big reaction. It makes sense that it's just like to someone in that position, to like a feminine, like middle class, like woman, basically, you know, in our society, they're not gonna have this big reaction because society has like conditioned them to be a certain thing, to be a certain thing, to think about a certain thing, you know, and to like mask your true self, present this ID, and then just kind of suffer, you know. And this movie is just about someone being honest and having a dialogue about suffering and not being happy in their lives and being depressed, you know. And there's no freaking movie, like it's just not like shielded or hid, basically. It's just out in the open, presented from from the reader's perspective. It's just like, this is how it is, you know. It's not the glamour that you expect, but it's not gonna be the magic that you expect. It's just gonna be like, you know, like the characters just kind of like, you know, just surviving. I feel like that the title is so good because like the History of Wolves, where it's like the character is a wolf trying to survive amongst other wolves, and just like, or just trying to survive with their own like pack, basically. But it's not in a way that's like me, us together. It's like you over there, you over there, you over there. We're all wolves, just kind of figuring it out. But it's just a really good like maybe allegory. I don't know what the right word is, but just like for just like, you know, just feminine people in our society who are depressed because like they're treated like garbage and they're conditioned to like be like slaves in a lot of ways, and just to be for sale. I've seen it. I see it all the time, and I've heard people talk about their lives and their stories and everything like that. Like every audiobook every autobiography or every memoir I've read about women is like 80% about sexism and about prejudice in our society. And it's just like, I don't think there's ever been a book that's like told it like it is, but also have it so well written, so encompassing of ideas and conversation that are real. Like, you don't have to be freaking Superman and present this thing, be human and be flawed and just exist, and like, the book is so well written. Emily Fridlund, 10 out of 10, no, 11 out of 10, freaking masterpiece. Open chest, baby. But yeah, forget the 5 stars out. But this is a masterpiece, without a doubt. Just so well done, so well done. The flow is good, the vibe is good. Like I think the first hour and a half of listening to it, I'm like, man, I really don't like this thing. And then once it starts hitting its stride after the first hour and a half, from the first hour and a half of the audiobook all the way to the end of the book, I'm like, wow. It got better as it went on, because there's just more that you're seeing, and you have all the additional information from that first chapter, from the second chapter, from the third chapter. You're putting it all together and completing the character more and more. And I just feel like you're like, damn, and you're like, damn, and you're like, damn, like every single thing you're like, the more information you have, the more depressing it is, the more like sad and just like unimpressed it is. And it's like, that's the sell, because that's the real thing. And it's told excellently. The book is amazing, masterpiece, well done, one of the best books I've ever read in my entire life, and definitely one of the best of the new era, basically, of just like the post, like maybe 90s on, because like I feel like a lot of the best works to me have been like older generation, like again, like Dumas was like, I don't know what century Dumas was, but I think he was like 17th or 18th basically. And then you have like Jane Austen was 18th century for sure, I think. Jane Austen was 19th century, I think. And then you have freaking I like The Odyssey by Homer. I think that was like way back when. Stephen King's like a 90s, I think, person. He came out like he was like in his like prime, like or just like he was at his like date, like he was like famous in like the 80s, I think, 80s, 90s, but like this is like a 2017 modern era. I think Alexander McCall Smith is also a good writer, but there's a boatload of modern writers who are really, really good. But for me, like of just like generation of like, there's like no flaws, no problems, like everything is amazing. Basically, I think for me, of the books I've read, haven't read every book in the world. I haven't read whoever's favorite book it is, basically. But for the books I've come across, basically, and read, this is one of the best. That's like a fiction, not like a memoir or whatever. Just fantastic. And it feels like a memoir. It feels like it's a accurate telling of somebody's life in a different perspective. Yeah, but anyways, History was fantastic masterpiece. Go read it yesterday. Anyways, yeah.